Well, welcome to Duckett Calligraphy, where I'm going to give you a lovely talk through, hopefully today, about the actual Exsultet book, the manuscript that's arrived back from the bindery, and it's been hand lettered and decorated in my studio here in Fife. The Exsultet is a prayer that's used once a year in the Catholic liturgy, Roman Catholic liturgy, and it is sung at the Easter Vigil. There is reference to bees because they're talking about the Paschal candle in church, and so that's why we've got these bees, one on the front of the slipcase itself, and the other on the front of the book. I'm going to turn around and show you this way. Sorry, that shows you the inside of the slipcase. There is yellow, very similar theme there, of course. The actual bees there, and we turn the book over to open it. What I'm going to do actually, I'm going to get this rock from the beach just outside. That's actually an old brick that's been worn away, and we'll open it so that it doesn't open flat. The interior of the book is lovely. It's this lovely sumptuous gold, which is supposed to mimic the colour and also the consistency really of honey. That's the idea behind that. Let's just bring that down a bit. And then we turn and we get to the title page. And here we have the Exsultet, the actual title itself. It's a lovely wash of colour, green, red, blue and yellow. And those four colours are used throughout the book. And it's just a decorative feature. I've gone for four colours. The black text is the same as the text throughout the actual music notation and words. It's black acrylic ink. And if you look carefully, you'll see the gentle gold bubbles there. The gold bubbles that do glint in the sun. We haven't got a massive amount of sun today. We're blowing a hoolie outside today. But anyway, so that's the front page. We turn, and of course the traditional name for the prayer is the Exsultet. It's called nowadays the Easter Proclamation really, so I've put that on the next page, and then we've got a descriptive page here just explaining who sings the prayer and which parts of the prayer can be sung by particular people depending on who's singing. Written in red, the usual colour of instruction writing in a liturgical document. And then we have this lovely marginal decoration going down the page. The margin is a wonderful place to put decoration because you're kind of going this way as you're reading it. So as you're going, as your eye is going down, you're following the text, but you've also got this little feature going down, following with your eyes, as it were. And I think it's a lovely little motif. You can just see that glint there, the gold. And it's supposed to represent God the Father, the gold there, the gold stem, the stem of life, you might call it. And then we've got the red bubbles, and then we've got the green leaves. Very, very simple. And then we'll turn over. And then for the next few pages, I've taken a bit of artistic license and taken one sentence from the Exsultet, and I've strung it out over several pages. And I've made the first letter of the sentence into a window. I love the idea of windows in decoration. Anyone who follows my page will know this. I often write windows or draw windows. For this one itself, we've got a T, and we've got here orange bubble, yellow bubble, and a red bubble, very deep red, at each corner of the T. And then the downward of the T forms the mullion of the window, and you might even see there a very gentle little window latch that suggests you could even throw the window open at night and allow the night in. It's a wonderful little visual image for the prayer. And again, we've got the green, the blue, the yellow, and the red here, continuing throughout there. So this is the night of which it is written, and you got these colours going through all the way. The night shall be as bright as day. Dazzling is the night for me, and full of gladness. And there we go, that's that. Whilst we're on this page, let's just have a look at the paper. It's an absolutely beautiful paper, and you can see the decal edging here of the paper. It really adds a lovely dynamism to this book that already has a great deal of present. It's a very artistic book. And we then turn to the first page of the actual prayer itself. And here we've got the Exsultet, E, you can see Exult, you've got Zult there from Exult, and then the E of that first word I've placed on a separate page. The reason for that is just to give it extra depth, extra clarity, I suppose you might call it. You can see it shining in the light there. And inside the letter bowl, you've got this kind of stylized night sky, green at the base, lighter blue going into darker blue, and then little dots at the top, red infill to the actual letter itself. And then to match that, being the beginning of the actual prayer itself, we've got this red maroon marker, which kind of really sets it apart as being sort of a non-blue colour. We were originally going to go for blue because of the binding, but thought we'd better go with that instead. And then for the music itself, we've got this lovely continuation of a wash of 4 colours, green, blue, red and yellow. And what I've done is I've made sure that on each line we've got a green, a blue, a red and yellow. That the colours aren't coming out brilliantly here on this video. That is a green. You can't see it very well on the video. Blue, red and yellow. But I've altered the sequence of the 4 colours on each line so that it gives a decent wash. You can see the yellow is sort of sprayed differently around the page, situated differently. Got the little the Kustos marks for the next note there on the new line, and of course we've got this marginal decoration here, this extension going up as we do on all of the pages. And it continues basically in the same way all the way through the actual prayer. And I think the black is a beautiful, it's a lovely acrylic black, so it's a matte kind of colour, as you might see. It's matte, it doesn't shine, but there is a glint on the colours. I'm trying to catch the glint. Again, it's difficult in the light, and especially using this new gimbal, which is ferociously difficult for me to use. Anyway, we've got this lovely wash of colour going through the black, and it adds just a certain dynamism to this lovely handwritten piece. It's wonderful as you sing it. I sang it yesterday and from the book, and it's wonderful as you sing it to feel as you feel down the page. You can feel the indentation of the nib on the paper, little cuts almost, and just to think that each one of these pages has been, handwritten. Every letter's handwritten. Every note handwritten, the marginal decoration. Also notice the Saunders Waterford mark on the paper, which I've made sure is sort of at the outer edges, not on all the pages but on some. And whilst we're talking about the paper itself is Saunders Waterford. That's the name of the paper, and it's made at a mill called St Cuthbert's Mill in Wells in the UK, and they have made this paper in a very similar way since the 1700s, and it's a very fine, very beautiful paper. I use it for nearly all of my calligraphy, not only for a book like this, but for single sheet manuscripts that will be framed in customers' homes or places of worship, and also even my greetings cards on Etsy. Most of them have this Saunders Waterford paper. It's 190 gram cotton Archiville paper, so it's bound to last a long time, longer than I do, as long as I don't spill tea over it. That's the biggest challenge in my life, not spilling tea on things. And then we've got this marginal extension again going up. It's a continuation all the way through the book. It's a lovely theme, and we continue. And you go all the way through, and then when we get to the last page, there's something slightly different. First of all, we've got Christ here, as you can see, and I've put the little dots around that, just like I have at the beginning of the title page, and also star, the morning star. And then we come to this page, and we've got my trademark triangle decoration. I love triangles, and I started using them when I was a monk at the monastery in my calligraphy. That's where I started doing my calligraphy about 11 years ago, seriously anyway. And I used triangles to represent the Trinity, really. That's what it was all about. And here we've got this Amen. It's exactly the same style and shape as all of the other Celtic letters. The difference being that it's just bigger. So I've used a much broader nib. You can see the nib that I use here. Can you see that there? And that creates those lovely downward shapes and the lovely sort of swerving shape there. I love the curve in that N. You've got two lovely downwards, and then you've got this bar curving from one to the next. And then with these triangles inside, it's almost like the triangles have just kind of caught inside, they're fallen and caught inside the N. Something really special about that. So I do like to have triangles in a lot of my decoration. It's jolly, it's very lyrical, it's stylistic, it's just lovely. It's a lovely shape. And that's really the end of the book. So we'll turn back to the front again, and just want to show you once more this E. Go back to the E. And a lot of my calligraphy, if you go onto my website, it tells you a little of my story, really, as a calligrapher. I love Celtic script. I'm also a complete paper geek. I'm just crazy about paper. That's why I choose the finest paper you can really get. Now, what I like to do is take the Celtic style, and you'll see this in all of my work on my website and on Facebook and Instagram. I take the Celtic style and I try and pare the decoration back. So we've still got a really Celtic influence, but you've got this lovely strong wash of empty paper. And for me, that is as much part of the artwork as the E itself. It can be sometimes difficult making a piece of artwork and not smudging anything around the corners, but that's just something I have to put up with. But it's lovely, it's wonderful to use that paper within the artwork itself. So I could have put little baubles around or put some extra decoration inside this red panel here, but I decided not to. I thought, do you know what? I like the simplicity of this E. And we're going to go with that, leave it as it is. The gilding, the 22, silly gimbal, or silly me, the gilding is 22 karat gold. It's relatively rough, there's a lovely shine to it. It brings through the texture of the paper into the gold. So some people like a mirror finish, and it depends how many applications of gold size I place on before placing the gold onto the size. You can get a more mirror finish. I prefer this finish, and the reason is that it represents the paper, the texture of the paper, and I love paper. Now, the great thing about this gilding is that it's specifically designed to go on pages that are going to be bent like that, you see. So it doesn't lose its elasticity, so it doesn't need to be kept as a straight sheet of paper, sort of framed. That's one of the lovely things about it. So anyway, there we are. There is the Duckett Exsultet 2021. It's something that I can create for you. You might want, again, the Exsultet. You might want maybe a book of Psalms or a selection of your favourite Psalms. I don't know, you may want maybe a book of prayers, poems. It doesn't have to be religious, could be anything. And this just gives you an idea of what you can have and how beautiful it can be. The last thing I want to mention is that a lot of people look at the difference between cloth binding and leather binding, and of course leather binding is a lot more expensive. It's a lot trickier for the bookbinder to work with leather than it is with cotton. But to have a cotton binding, I think, is really lovely. It hasn't lessened the great beauty of this artistic book. It's something really special. It's very weighty. The boards themselves, these boards here, are 4mm thick. Really, really strong, thick, sturdy things. And the same with the actual slipcase itself. So, do think about if you'd like something written. I don't charge a massive amount, not as much as some calligraphers do, but obviously a lot of work has to go into a book of this nature. The binding alone cost a little over £200, and I would be charging somewhere in the region of £800 £500 to £1,000 for something of this nature, which again, if you have a keen library or if you have a subject that's very particular to you, to have a one-off book like this, it is, you can't beat it. You'll have a book in your collection that no one else has, that's been lovingly produced, and a great joy, a great asset to any bibliophile's life, I would say. So anyway, there we are. That's enough of me and my business. Thank you very much for watching, and do keep a lookout on my Facebook page and Instagram page, and of course on my website and blog as well. Lots of daily updates, and I look forward to seeing you. Thanks very much for watching.